All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quietly got 2 steals, not just 1, but 2 steals of training camp on their roster, on the practice squad, and nobody's really talking about it. If you're new to the channel, we are Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel talking about teams and stories that get overlooked by the national media. Buccaneers definitely being one of those teams. Generally on this channel, we talk about teams that just kind of no one takes them as serious as some of these other teams. And it's like, man, Buccaneers in the playoffs last year, like what division winner, like what are we doing here? We know all about it being Detroit Lions fans. So and with that, let me know in the comments who's an opposing or who's another team. If you're a Buccaneers fan, who's another team that you kind of keep an eye on in the NFL? For me, it's the Raiders randomly and the Buccaneers. I do like the Buccaneers. Just kind of I liked them when they went from back in the 90s there, late 90s, when they changed to their uniforms and they had like the pirate ship in the stadium, and it was just like, what is this? And it's just love that. Early 2000s Tampa was awesome. Okay, here's the things that's going on. If you look, they loaded up. So after going relatively light with 5 wide receivers, with 5, they loaded up at the position at their practice squad. These are the last few guys that were added. This is what it was talking about. Basically, they're all filled up. Here are the last 3: Ryan Miller, Sterling Shepard, and Cody Thompson. We're going to talk about these 2 guys quickly, and then there's a couple other things we'll do at the end of the video. But Sterling Shepard, that's the same Sterling Shepard you're thinking of. That's the Giants veteran receiver. He's 31 years old. Remember, he was with the Giants from 2016 to just last year. And so has he lost a step? Sure. Right. That's why he's on the practice squad, not the active roster. But I like having a veteran guy on the practice squad that has played a ton of games. He's played almost like 60 games or something. 60 games, you can take him right from the practice squad to your active roster. So I love to see that. And it's not just like a bunch of undrafted free agents or a bunch of rookies. You've got a veteran guy on your roster, and a really good one at that. So really good find and good job by the Bucs to have that. The next one's Cody Thompson. And Thompson led the NFL during the preseason with 15 catches, turned that to 137 yards and a touchdown. Another just you got the most productive. I get it, right? Like, I'm not going to get crazy about a preseason wide receiver, but Cody Thompson is a guy that's like, okay, from Toledo. And same thing with him. He was an undrafted guy in 2019. He goes to the Chiefs, Seahawks, Bengals, all in 2019, kind of bouncing around from active roster to practice squad. And then he finds a home with the Seahawks. And for the last 4 years, he was with the Seahawks. So another guy that's found he can play. He's bounced around teams. So I like that. And so here he was with the Kansas City Chiefs. He goes there, then Seahawks, Bengals, back to the Seahawks. And was it yeah, and that's where he ends up kind of finding a home. And he made the final roster last year as a special teamer and a backup wide receiver. He was so he's just been right on the cusp there for forever. But it doesn't matter. Very productive. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's got the ability to play at wide receiver. And if you're the Tampa Bay Bucs, this is what I like about this. You fill out your roster. We looked at the roster a couple videos ago where it's just like, yeah, this roster is good. It's good because Baker Mayfield he's right in he makes half of what all these mega quarterbacks are making, allows you to get depth and better pieces around you. The roster's balanced. Baker Mayfield shows that he can get you to the playoffs and win in the playoffs, right? So now it's like, what about the bottom of the roster? Can the bottom of the roster rise up? Can we identify guys on the bottom of the roster? So to see a couple practice squad players that you're able to find the most productive guy in the preseason, in training camp, then also you find a veteran, really good dude in Sterling Sharp. I think that's just well done on the Buccaneers part. Again, these are stories that'll never get covered by the national media. I get it. And that's why I get it. But that's important stuff. You got to have the roster top to bottom all filled out. I really like that. Now, here's what I also like. And I was kind of looking at some of these things, and I thought there was a couple I wanted to highlight. These are just on SI.com. Bold predictions for the 2024 season. I'm not going to go through all 10, but I wanted to talk about a couple that I'm like, man, if this happens, the Buccaneers are going to be really good. And these aren't far-fetched crazy. I know they said bold predictions, and they are. They're bold, but they're also like, "Yeah, let's go." The Buccaneers will have a top 15 run game. That's number 1, and man, if this happens, the Buccaneers will win the division. And again, remember, if you win the division, it's a home playoff game. Um, you saw it last year. The reason I bring that up is I think we forget that the division is so important. And when you're in a division like you're in, where it's so wide open, it's like, let's go. It's so fun. Like, it's so fun. The Buccaneers have invested heavily in turning around their anemic rushing attack from last season. Graham Barton, um, Bredesen, another year, Tristan Wirfs, Rashad White, Bucky Irving. There's some names here, and there's some opportunity for this running game to come alive. It just didn't last year. And every time you thought it would, it just started, it sputtered out, or it's like, man, are we giving up on the run too early? And then you're in your head, right? When it comes to the running game, it's like, got to stay committed to it. It's like, no, we can't. We got to move on. We got to move on and go win this game. We can't be running the ball. We're down 10. And so he was just always, I felt off in the running game. So top 15. You don't need to be a top 5. I love the way that this is said. Let's go. Let's be top 15, the way all the pieces that are in place. Okay, Zion McCollum. Remember, you traded your main corner to the Lions. So it's like, all right, man, we're counting on you and we believe in you. So Zion McCollum has to be somebody, and they're hoping that he's a breakout player because you traded away, can't think of his name, to the Lions. Another one that I love here is right here. Godwin finishes with over 100 receptions. Great player. Doesn't get talked about enough. What if he just has a great year, right? You have a good rushing attack, and he has a good year. I don't see why the Buccaneers are not in the playoffs. And then one more. Baker Mayfield will have more than 30 touchdowns. You know, it's just crazy. The reason Baker Mayfield works is because, and we talk about it, and we saw it with Dan Campbell and the Lions, where you just talk about culture and you talk about guys wanting to play for each other and you want to be there. And that's it. That's what makes football so popular. You can have a lot of talent, you can not have talent, you can have all these things, but the team has to really play hard and be one and all that. It's like, just has to be. And Baker Mayfield just brings that out in other players. So it's like, let's go. He just does. So I love Baker Mayfield as your quarterback because you can get him at an affordable price. He wins. Guys like playing hard for him. What else do you want? So, okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments. The Buccaneers roster is well-rounded, all set to go. I mean, I don't see very many question marks, and so I think that's obviously a good thing if you're a Buccaneers fan. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know the other team in the NFL you kind of root for, kind of keep an eye on, and we'll see all of you on the next one.